Maybe.
Whew! Alright guys, welcome to another episode of the Young Dagger... Oh fuck. That's not my podcast, that's my old podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Gobshite podcast. This has been a very long podcast. Normally they're normally they're 45 minutes, but it's been an hour and 45.
Oh, we just
so
some more shit.
So yeah, obviously we're both tired but both quite enthusiastic because we covered a lot of subjects. Lex here is the bass player and backing vocalist for a band called Gutter Puppets. So normally when I get someone on the podcast from a band, we normally sort of mainly focus on that, but we kind of spoke about music for about 30 seconds towards the end. But we cover a lot. We covered a lot of sort of cultural issues and whatnot, being Brazilian, Polak, Italian.
So, yeah. Put some spaghetti and sausages in there.
And me being a white nationalist boy. Do you like my trucker hat, guys? I went to the Chicken Wing Festival at the weekend and got this lovely. To be fair, I'm only wearing this. I look like a fucking hillbilly, but I'm only wearing it because I haven't shaved me and I look like a fucking fat tramp at the moment. But yeah, anyway, positivity. That's a big focus of the podcast. Right? Yeah, how'd you find it? All right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first podcast I've done. You know, it's just like, again, it's just having a casual conversation. You know, like, because I know we're on the same grounds of like talking a bit further. You know, exchanging ideas, which is quite nice. You know, a lot of people should do that nowadays. Just sit down, have a talk, have a few beers, just talk. It was really good, man. It was a good experience.
This is why I want more people to do podcasts. Just so, like, you know, we can actually form a network of people doing podcasts, actually get on into a podcast, talk, and actually, like, you know, put ourselves on line with this shit. But, yeah, dude, cheers for coming on, and hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, it's fine. Levels are great.
Dope.
Cool. Right, so this is podcast number 7. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded one, so I might be a little bit rusty, but fuck it, we're going straight into it. I'm sat here with my mate Lex. Lex is a bass player and backing vocalist for a band called Gutter Puppets.
Mm-hmm.
You hail from Brazil?
Yes.
Yes. And we've met mutually recently. It's been over a year. How long have I known you for? Must be at least
2 years. It's going to be 2 years soon. And yeah, I met you when you had one of your gigs in Islington.
That's right, because you started seeing Amy. And now over the last few months, we've quite fortunately been able to hang out at gigs. Stag do's. We've got our own little filthy WhatsApp group with 2 lads we met. Another stag do. That's another stag do, isn't it? It was a stag do.
No, we got the stag do chat when I got the filthy stuff on there.
No, but that filthy chat that was from Martin's stag do, wasn't it? Yes, it was.
It's got Limo and Craig in it. Yeah.
So we've had a very short-lived relationship. It's been pretty eventful. You've actually filmed me rain dancing naked in the rain. We've been storming fucking people paintballing. I've made sort of drunken nights out. It's been pretty cool. So the thing is, I don't really know very much about your upbringing, your backgrounds, and sort of life in Brazil and what led you to coming over here. We've had chats about politics and whatnot, but I don't really know your story. So if I turn the mic over to you and just fill me in with, like, you know, you sort of start with your life, you know, then coming over here, and we'll start at the beginning.
All right. So it's a very long story. There's a lot of things in between too. Yeah, as you know, I'm from Brazil. You know, south of Brazil, a big city called Curitiba, which is the capital of the state of Paraná, because we're such a huge country. We're divided like America, like in different states.
Right.
It kind of works a bit similar like America. And yeah, it's a very, well, I suppose urban, but we're very environmental friendly. Like, we always push for the kind of stuff. So it's a big urban city, not as big as London, but big considered for there. And you know, people are very westernized there and stuff, you know, like.
So what age did you move over here then?
I moved at the age of 12. It was like a month before my birthday, and I turned 13. So I've been here for 11 years now.
But so before the age of 12, did you have any sort of desire to come over here? Was it ever in the psyche?
No, I had no idea that I was coming to England. I've never really thought of the idea of going somewhere else. I mean, I was still a kid, you know. I have no fucking idea what to do with my life and things like that. But it's just. My parents have been separated for a while since I was a baby, and you know, I've seen my father back and forth when I was young and back in Brazil and stuff, but you know, they've been separated, not fully divorced kind of thing.
Yeah.
And my father just had an idea of coming to Europe, you know, to England, and just inviting my mother and me, of course, and my sister as well. I have a sister, and to, you know, have a better life and come to England.
So did you pick up a bass over here or in Brazil?
Here. I picked up a bass here. I never really played a musical instrument back home, because that's one thing I'm very thankful about the the education system here, even though I've got a lot of complaints about
Yeah.
that. But like one thing I do praise about is it's making music a compulsory subject. I know people may sound boring, but if it wasn't for me having my first music lesson in this country, you know, I was really excited about it because I knew like in the curriculum that you have to do music here. It's no a thing you would see in Brazil. Like you would be an extracurricular
Activity,
subject. Yeah. You'd be like after school kind of thing, you know, playing an instrument and stuff. Even though like we're a very musical country, it's kind of weird, you know, like. But like it's thank you to this country. If I didn't have my first time fiddling around the instruments, I wouldn't.
So do you speak any English before you come over here?
Well, we learn American English. That's why sometimes I sound British and American. Sometimes I change back and forth when I talk. But we learn the American English back home. We have classes. It's compulsory to learn, and it's like our second language there. But when my mother said, right, in 3 years' time we're gonna be moving to the United Kingdom, and she was like, right, you know, my mom is very, how can I say it? She's like, she likes to respect all the cultures, you know, when you go in there and stuff. So she's like we should learn English. We should, you know, learn that. And I think that's fair, you know, like when you go into different cultures, nice to integrate. That's the word, you know. Yeah. Integrate, you know. So and plus, you know, going to complete new culture and country, of course, it's good to know the language, so you'll be an advantage. So she put me in the course, so I learned, you know, English a bit further, you know, how to make sentences and understand. And I didn't really speak to anyone in English until I moved here, you know. It took me a while, but I could understand everything. I would stay quiet, just listen to everything, but I learned a little bit before I came here.
Because obviously you're an adult now, like, and you come across sort of a very confident, sort of happy-go-lucky guy. Like, what was it first like moving over here? Like, sort of, you said you stay quiet and you listen to people and that. But like, how does I suppose how does like the school system compare to Brazil then? Like, did you
see? It's a bit hard for me to compare. Like, how the educational system is here compared to Brazil, because in Brazil, I was in a private Catholic school.
Right.
But the private Catholic that was here, it's not like the privates you get here, which you pay like thousands and thousands of pounds, and you have like, you know, the toppest of things. Even though it was a really good school, you know, it was like affordable for the working class. Yeah. If that makes sense, because you got different schools there. You got the public schools in Brazil. I've never been to public school, so I don't really know. I had friends that went there, you know, but they seem to do well as well in public schools. So, but I haven't really personally experienced, so I can't really say. But when I was in a private Catholic school, it was really, you know, up standards and stuff, and, you know, they pushed forward to a lot of, you know, of course, the Catholicism and things like that. But my school was in the Franciscan branch, so with the monks, you know, with the fancy monks, with the shaved heads and stuff. So so the school was run by them and the nuns that followed the Franciscan saint. So they had more of, which I'm grateful for. They had very like environmental views of like looking, because, you know, the Franciscan saint, he was the saint known to speak to animals and look after nature, you know, and so the whole school based on that ethos. So we had like a box. I don't know if it's called a bosque, but like we had a little forest in the school where we could go on playground and just play around like on break times and things. So they were very like helpful and stuff.
So from what I know about Catholicism over here is like they have saints, not the deities, but have like other saints and stuff, like patron saints and things. But I don't think they get as much respect or much, what's the right word? Don't really hold a big part in Catholicism over here. So where you're looking after sort of nature more and being more aware of that sort of stuff, over here it literally is just you know, with a very rigid sort of Catholic institution at the schools. You know, they stick by the sort of, you know, no sex before marriage and all these sort of like really sort of
very like conservative values and things. I don't know, again, because again I'm in the Franciscan branch. It's I mean, it's Catholicism in general, but they highly focus more on that particular saint, you know. So I don't know, because again, Catholicism, you got like saints of war and saints of forgiveness and different things, you know, like all these saints for everything.
They've got a Saint Stephen. I can't remember what the fuck he does. And they got, so when my mum and dad got married, they bought me and my brothers a Saint Christopher, and Saint Christopher is a patron saint of travelling, for safe travel. So like, it's gonna be our first family holiday, like on a plane. We went to Lanzarote. My mum and dad had like a brief honeymoon to Brighton to bump uglies and sort of get that shit out of the way, and then took me and my brothers over with leftover money to go Lanzarote, and we all got the little Catholic. The funny thing is, we're not even Catholics. Right, I was born Protestant. You know, I was in the Church of England.
Yeah.
So, but St Christopher, from my knowledge, that's not even nothing to do with being Protestant. That's just a patron saint of travelling Catholicism. But so when you moved over here, where was you sort of living then?
Yeah. Where I was living, when I first moved, I used to live in Stockwell. Like, it was like 15 minutes from Vauxhall, so like nearby the river and stuff. It used to be like the old 80s block of flats and all that kind of stuff. And I used to live. It was in the road called I think it's called Effingham Road. I think it's called. No, Union Road. Sorry, that was to be called. Yeah, it was like a council flats and stuff.
So it's council housing. You
live in. And then after I moved to Streatham, where most of my years here have been in Streatham, and now I'm moving. I live in New Addington now, which is further away from everything.
I spent most of my youth in Streatham. I mean, I used to go to Christchurch School there. That was my local church. You know, I used to be an altar boy there. Every Sunday.
Not the choir boy.
No, I'm not the choir boy. The thing is, I mean, like working class values. You know, like. That's what you did. You know, you went to church. You know, you went to Sunday school, and just give my parents a chance to sort of to associate with different members of the community, whether it be upper middle working class. You know, the church is fucking diverse as hell there. You know, we got to see. We used to go Beavers and Cubs and that as well to help my brothers. Cubs, sort of what's the word? Sort of meet more kids and sort of learn to swim and things. So being part of Beavers and Cubs like really helped working class families. You know, that couldn't afford shit. To help their kids, you know, learn things that sort of, you know, that middle class kids might learn with Duke at Edinburgh and whatnot. You know, it just helped sort of give parents a bit of a respite and teach their kids some values and that.
Oh yeah, of course. I've been in Scout as well, Brazil as well. But again, that's another thing as well. Scouts here. I mean, my sister's been lucky; she's in Scouts too. But her Scouts are very old school. Like they like dissect like rabbits and things like. They teach how like when you hunt rabbits and stuff, which I found like very extreme, I suppose. Because like I remember when I went Scouts here, you know, back in Brazil, we like when I reached, because you got Cubs and you got to Scouts and you got Pioneers. Yeah. So I went to Scouts, so you're almost like a lad, you know, like in the eye of view kind of thing. You can do grown up stuff almost kind of thing. So they like sometimes in camping they would give us a box and be like, right, survive.
Oh really?
Just walk away, and it's like, I mean, of course they will have supervision, but like we have like survival camping sometimes, where we would give like rations food, and they will assess us on like how we do. Yeah. And then I moved there and I joined a scout group in Kenston near the museum, actually in the Baden Powell House. And man, when I went camping here first, you can't cut this. You can't carry this. You can't touch the machete. You don't have training. You know, oh, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself. Yeah. I swear to God, I saw a fucking kid camping, and he had a TV in his tent. I was mind blown. I mean, like, fair enough if you want to entertain yourself, but like, you're camping, dude.
Yeah, I think over here it's just more of like an excursion. You know, give parents a bit of respite.
There's a lot of health and safety.
But cause literally all we used to do is we'd go orienteering. We would go hiking, learn knots. I mean, might do a bit of rafting and stuff and that. Like, but it was all just sort of really family friendly shit. You know, just you'd go with a bit of money. You can go to the tuck shop and buy some sweets. But like the stuff you learn was, I mean, I've never really used any of it. But yeah, it's just a way of like giving kids sort of like soft discipline. You know, helping them sort of integrate, like you know. So I do see the benefits of it, but it would have been quite cool to sort of have a bit of a militant style where you are forced to survive and things. I was in the Air Cadets for a little while, and instead of things called night exercises,
I think it's a very important life skill, man. You never know, man. When the shit hits the fan, you never know.
Yeah, of course. That's like, I mean, at the moment, I'm toying with, whilst I'm still working as a groundsman, while I still work in Sig Cup at the sports ground, I've got good grounds to get a gun license because I can use it to kill vermin. But I'm very keen to start hunting at some point, not for game, but for meat. I'd like to do a bit of rabbiting. I wouldn't mind, you know. Things in the UK, you're very limited to what you can fucking hunt and eat.
Yes, my dad hunts. He tells me all the time as well. You know, like, you know, we got like pheasants, rabbits, and venison.
Yeah,
and that's
pretty much it. Yeah. That's annoying thing. Because the thing is, like, with this whole like veganism thing, my argument has always been like, I'm not going to go vegan. But my answer to that would be, well, how about I start hunting my own meat and eat that? Because my argument is always...
I can go with that.
The things I hate more than anything is these militant fucking armchair vegans, slacktivists, that aren't even, they're using their diet to control their life and give them sort of a moral sort of superiority. When really they're still, although they're not buying meat from Sainsbury's, they're still going to buy all the other produce. But you do realise they cover their losses in the meat. They cover losses as a whole figure in the supermarket. So if you still use the same supermarket, you're still buying into the factory farming industry. I think everyone can agree factory farming is not the way forward. That should stop. But that's vegans and carnivores or meat eaters. That's where they should work together. Is stopping factory farming, but not make it a vegan issue. Make it an animal cruelty issue. Yeah. But vegans need to recognise that there is such thing as a humane way of killing animals, and it all comes down to different sets of values. You know, it's not a be all and end all either side of the spectrum.
Yeah, it's I can agree with you. You know, it's fine. People can have the diet they want. You know, at the end of the day, it's their life. You know, people have different views of life and things like that. But like, I'm with you as well. I would be more happy to get my own meat and stuff, because you know, like nowadays everything is high in demand and mass production, so fucking God knows what happens to the meat before it gets here, you know. And it's nice to see around the world that they're trying to control it, you know, make it easier now. Like now they passed a law now that in slaughterhouses they have to have CCTV and it has to be monitored how the animals, you know, like things like that, small steps, you know, because like it's massive scientific like arguments about like dieting and stuff, and all the people saying, oh, we should eat vegetables, no, we should eat meat also, but then some people say, no, we should only eat nuts and things like that because of the teeth, and it's a huge argument. But
every human's different. Some people can't survive on a vegan diet. Literally, they can't.
It's true.
They can't. And some people, vegan is the best diet for them. That's fine. But it takes into account that every human has a different makeup, not just enough that body can react completely different to certain things.
No, there's been people that have been surviving, you know, with the vegan diet, very healthy and perfectly healthy. Like, kudos to them. But it's like myself, I just feel comfortable. I'm supposed, like, growing up, you know, back in Brazil even, and having family members there in farms as well. You know, my grandfather, he had a small farm and things, countryside man, and my father as well grew up in the countryside. You know, like, you know, getting their own pig in kitchen, you know, chicken. It seems a pretty normal, you know, kind of thing. And you know, from my point of view, just, you know, analyzing how like we developed as a civilization, you know, started farming, consuming meat, you know, and you know how predators become a little bit smarter because you know they have to think a bit more, and it just to me seems a bit weird to go backwards.
Yeah,
if that makes sense to me.
I think it's like the cognitive dissonance, like the absolute denial about the idea of how eating meat has actually helped us develop. Like when people completely deny that fact, it's just like it winds me out, because it's an objective truth that the idea of us being carnivores, and people say we got the wrong teeth and shit.
That's the other thing as well. It's the term carnivore. That's another thing that I think people get incorrectly, because carnivore is an only meat based. Sure. So I think it's a correct term.
So we're omnivores.
We're omnivores. Yeah. We can eat anything. We can eat. We develop so much. As a species to eat anything, because we're the weakest of all the animals in there. You know, everyone else is faster and stronger, but we have the brains.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So the only way we survive is exploring and eating things. So this is how we got here, you know, eating everything. And I think it's, you know, again, using carnivore as a term, because like you can't give lions vegetables all the time, kind of thing. It's meat. But
we're very malleable when it comes to food.
Yeah.
And every human's different. So I was got into deep sort of like chat with a friend about this the other day, with mate Lewis, and he was sort of using the whole typical supply and demand argument. But I was trying to say to him that only makes sense to a certain degree, because again they cover their fucking losses. And say in Sainsbury's they're selling like more chicken wings than they are packet breasts. All they're going to do is find other use for the packet breast and put in dog food or whatever. If they're selling loads of wings, and don't forget, you only get fucking 2 wings of each chicken, they're still going to slaughter thousands of chickens just to sell those fucking wings. They'll make other uses for it. So, like, it's not a case of supply and demand all the time. Because and I was trying to explain to him that most working class families, they're so detached from this issue because they've got so many mouths to feed. Now, you could argue that maybe certain working class families should stop having so many kids they can't afford, fine. But the thing is, as long as there are people overpopulating their households, they've got mouths to feed, they'll buy the cheapest cuts of fucking meat, the cheapest bits of protein to sustain their family, whether it be frozen food or microwave meals or whatnot. That meat is always going to be used. We may be able to drop the numbers slightly against factory farming, and it's always going to be there. There's not going to be like a massive wave of people moving forward.
I understand that the meat industry has got a lot of money in it as well. That's one of the arguments they raise about, like about the veganism tries to raise about the meat industry is a money making industry. But again, it's just that balance of like morality and consumption and things like that kind of breaks through. Because it's just, I mean, I at the moment I work, for delivery and stuff, and I see the amount of meat that gets thrown away.
Yeah.
But now, again, we're moving forward with this. Now it's been passed a law now that some companies, especially in France, they can't throw the food away. They can give it to homeless and things.
Sure.
So things like that, can help to kind of decrease it and help with that situation. But I'd see a lot of people though when they go and eat and they leave massive chunks of meat and stuff on their plate, and being raised that way that I have to finish my plate no matter what, because this needs to be a living thing. You can at least make the effort to consume, and know how much you can eat as well is very important, because a lot of people tend to get more of what they see.
Of course,
And I think a lot of people need to change the way of thinking. I think and make sure that it's okay to eat meat. I get the whole cruel side of just keeping pigs in cages and stuff like
100%.
that. Yeah, that just common sense. It's common sense knowing that creatures suffering. Of course, we know as well animals have feelings. We have pets and cats and things like that in our household and thing. It's common sense to me, but it's just. Again, it's my point of view of cycle life. You see animals, they're hunting now on the wood, it's like you give and you receive. It's always that back and forth. Because when you die, you go to the soil, you decompose, and you give back to something. And if you're consuming that sort of energy and you're putting some good outside, I don't see what the problem is. But then again, it's just another thing I feel with this whole vegetarian things and the animals is a lot of people feel guilty about eating meat. Which is fair enough of the animal cruelty, but again...
I think, do you not think that's a byproduct from buying it in stores? Because again, we've lost the whole art of actually respecting the animal, enjoying the hunt, getting the kill, and respecting the kill. It's a cat and mouse game. You respect the animal more.
Of course, there's a lot of people that don't have the mindset to be able to kill the creature. But again, I guess this is what comes with society. Everyone's got their own job. Kind of thing, and a lot of people can do things that other people don't. So not necessarily, not everyone has to do.
Sure.
This is a free world. Anyone can do whatever they want. If they feel like they don't fit in this particular category, they can go to something else. No one's going to say anything. I think
that's why I kind of understand why there's been a bit of an influx of outspoken libertarians, because in the UK we have regulation in abundance, and at times you can attribute the amount of regulation we have to the weakening of the human psyche, the weakening of our our coherent levels, and the way people react, how sensitive they are, can be attributed directly to the fact we've got so much regulation that people want to exist in this bubble where they can completely detach themselves from any responsibility, any sort of guilt, any sort of personal accountability.
Yeah, that's a really wide subject. It only works for your diet. It works for many things.
Sure.
Your everyday life. With the massive hysteria that's going around the world right now, all these countries turning against each other and things like that, and this massive divide between the left and the right as well. You can put that into perspective as well. It's so hard to find a middle ground.
Yeah.
You really need that middle ground, but it seems so hard to find it.
Well, my trick at the moment, I say trick, it may be a trick, it's hard, but it's easy. One of the reasons I'm doing this podcast is so I can reach out to people that I'm still friendly with, but we can clearly see there's a complete divide in our opinions. And I like to get this podcast, get people on this podcast, so I can sit down face to face, look at eye, and remind them of old times. Remind them of the character they knew of Steve that's still here, and just go through the whole civil discourse, be like, look, I'm still the same person, still the same values, I'm just at this end now, 10 years later, and the reason we became friends in the first place wasn't because of our leanings or our ideas, because we were fucking kids and we got on, and we grew up drinking together, being fucking dickheads, going to gigs, and that's when life was less stressful. We can hone in the character more, because you get into scraps outside, you see people get into arguments, and just you align yourself with your friends, you're loyal, and you don't have the bullshit of politics and that to argue against. And it's just reminding people that when we were carefree, you liked me for me at my core. I'm still that same person. So reminding them of that makes it easier to come to civil discourse saying, this is what I, in my subjective reality, lean this way now, or agree with these points, and try to put it in perspective. So these people that aren't normally engaging with civil discourse, or these people that normally virtue signal all the time, or the same people that sort of live in their echo chambers, I want them to find it quite refreshing to sit with someone that doesn't agree with them and be like, look, let's respect me as a person, respect you as a person. Let's remind each other of the shit before the internet.
This is like going back to ancient Greece, you know, when Plato used to sit down with other philosophers and just talk, you know, even though they disagreed with each other, they would sit down, have a drink, you know, talk nonsense. Oh, I believe the planet's flat. No, it's round. No, it's a square. You know, blab for hours and things. And I think this is what we need more. You know,
that's why I thought it was fucking hilarious. No, obviously Eric Weinstein has started the intellectual dark web. Do you know anything about that?
No, actually, no.
It's basically like after Joe Rogan, got Ben Shapiro on, spoke to Eric and Brett Weinstein.
Jordan Peterson was there.
Jordan Peterson, all these sort of people are like, they come together as a collective, and the thing is, all of them disagree with each other on so many fucking issues, but like the tightest of little neeks now. Like he calls it Joe Rogan calls it the dark nerd or something like that. He basically dork web. It's taking a piss out of him. It's just like, but the thing is, it just shows you grown ass men that don't agree with each other, that live meaningful and fulfilling lives. People that actually are happy with themselves can sit down and break bread with people that should be, you know, inverted commas, the enemy.
But this is another thing as well. I've got to say that I think is holding us back as a species and a civilization, is that I get that people have different ideas, you know, and people talk and stuff, but it seems to be at the moment of a held silence, where, you know, people disagree with each other. We're not going forward. It's just two different sides. It's all or nothing. Yeah. You know, but like you said with people with Joe Rogan and stuff, they, even though they disagree with each other, they can exchange ideas. At the end of the day, they can reflect and they can accept and disagree with some things and learn. And this is one thing that we miss as a species, that we learn from others' mistakes or from experiences, and then this is how we progress forward. Yeah. So it is good in a sense that people disagree with each other, but you gotta have that open-minded mentality, you know, to sit down, have a talk, you know, tell your points forward, you know, be logical. Yeah. You know, I know feelings gets in the way, but, you know, like, you gotta sit down and be logical, you know, like, if you feel like something is wrong, you can tell it, but you know, but at the end of the day, you need to be like middle grounded and try to exchange the ideas. I used to be one of those progressive types. I used to be one of those like fucking little social justice warriors, white knights growing up, like, because I was very skinny. I was very effeminate. And the thing is, I can still go back to about 5 years ago when I hated Tommy Robinson, I hated Katie Hopkins, and I hated Nigel Farage, and not because I knew anything about them, because I was told to hate them. And it's just like I had such strong opinions on these three people, and all because like of clickbait headlines and like seeing little snippets on the news, and I'd be like, oh my god, that guy's a dickhead. I got the back. Fuck's sake. Oh, thank you. I should have kept that one. But it's just so I can see, like, so I remember my brother, he come back from maybe Iceland or something, and he was in support of Nigel Farage or whatever, and he's saying the guy's a rock star, he's hilarious. So when I started watching his stuff over mine, I was like, actually, his one-liners are pretty fucking jokes. And again, Kate Hopkins does a lot of stupid fucking shit, but she's right on a lot of things. And the problem I have nowadays is I wouldn't say I've gone too far the opposite way. I don't validate these people's opinions. I don't go out of my way to sort of, I don't go out of my way to sort of stand for these people because it's controversial. I stand for these people for the values of theirs that I appreciate. The ones that I don't appreciate, I mean, I doubt me and Tom Robinson could be friends, but I respect what he's doing and why he's done the things he's done enough. Like same with like the whole like right wing policies. I can respect the policies and attribute them to doing good, but not respect the whole of the right wing. Do you know what I mean? Same with people, like characters. I can respect the good that Katie does, that Nigel does, and what Tommy does, but I can also criticise the bad they do. No, of course. I'm like, and I think it's at the end of the day, nothing's perfect at the end of the day. Yeah. You know, like everyone always has a hit and miss. You know, but that's what I found recently when I've sort of like quietly been in support of Tommy, and like a few things online I've been like, actually, a friend of mine was like, she was like, why? Oh my god, I can't believe you said you respect what this guy does. And I said to her, well, have you watched any of his content? Like, the first thing I'd done after I thought, you know what, man, I've been biased on this. I've used confirmation bias as strawman arguments to make me hate these people. The first thing I'd done is I watched his Oxford speech. His Oxford, and I watched his interview with Iman Twadi. He's the imam that lives in Australia that actually was part of the Middle East. Oh yeah, yeah.
He's very outspoken against modern Muslims. And there's a black nationalist fella from Brixton that he sat down.
Sarah, isn't it?
Yes,
Sarah, yes,
that's
Sarah.
fucking great.
Yeah, no, Sarah. He goes to Speaker's Corner all the time.
Yeah, he's great. And I sent everyone that sort of moaned at me. I was like, do me a favour over this next week. I want to ask you to take 2 hours of your life, 2 hours, or maybe 2.5. Just take the time to watch these 3 things over a week, and then come back to me afterwards and let me know if anything's changed. And not one person's done it so far, not one fucking person. And it's just like, I'm at a point where, like, yeah, I can understand why I used to think like that, but mate, this is 5 years ago. In the last 5 years, I've really pushed my opinions, really pushed myself to formulate my own opinions and my own ideas, and try to reason with the world. And it's very hard for me to watch people, my peers, 5 years on, they're still being extremely close-minded. They're still living as if they're in their fucking early 20s, and they're still acting as if, like, you know, the world's changed around them, and they just sit there to be cynical and moan about it, rather than actually getting involved or doing anything to stop anything.
Yeah.
It's just I find it just fucking childish and disingenuous.
It is very strange. It's what was I thinking again? The people, you know, the world growing around them and then they're not changing, kind of thing. There's this really weird fear going on at the moment. I don't know what fear it is. I can't tell, but like, I think it's the fear of the unknown. I'm not too sure. It's like going back to what I was saying, that we need to learn these things as a species to be able to develop. You know, we learn from mistakes. I think everyone's intelligent enough to make their own decisions. You know, with a few exceptions, you know, of course, but like, you know, like a perfect normal human being, you know, like they can think and, you know, go to school and things like that and work, and, you know, I'm sure they can make reasonable decisions. And it just seems like everyone is trying to follow to a place where they feel comfortable with, which is fair enough to be somewhere comfortable, you feel like, but why not go beyond? Like, looking back in our history, like, a lot of us have stepped out from the shadows, you know, to the unknown, to discover things and develop things. And now look at us right now. Look, fucking buildings everywhere and cars and shit like that. I don't want to think like that if you're just sitting around the corner, just, you know, because it feels nice there, kind of thing. I think it's a skill that everyone needs to have, is to step a bit out of the shadows.
I completely agree.
Yeah, because you learn so much, even though if you don't disagree. But this is where your common sense comes in, where you can develop your own views. You don't have to. Oh, there's a cat again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I do love cats, man.
So another thing about this, having my house like this, because even if I close the door, you'll hear the fucking paws under the door trying to get in. Just can't fucking win.
Oh man, my cat's a princess. She not make a sound.
But
she's very delicate. She just lays there and just looks at you with the most like. Look.
Anyway, so I think the problem with that is like, obviously you have Trump derangement syndrome, right? And I think the precursor to that is, I think the West became too complacent,
too soft.
We became too smug, because although fucking Obama's fucking sending drones to the Middle East, blowing kids in it up, everyone was still on a high because America had a black president do 2 terms, and we're still living on a high like, fuck, we're progressive, and everyone rode the progressive coattails for so long that everyone became complacent. They focused on police brutality, focused on the 1%, and then Anonymous come through, and it's like, oh my god, we're living in a comic book, right? And everyone thought, yeah, right, we're going to get shit done. Everyone becomes smug and complacent with how progressive the world was, but they didn't envision this backlash. They didn't think Trump and Brexit would happen, and that was more of their oversight than anything else. They didn't see that coming, and that's fucking caused so many people to fucking feel disenfranchised, but internally, not because there's any policies that are changed that make them actually disenfranchised. It's just they've been forced now to look at facts, not opinions, and it's really fucking with their mentality. Again,
that goes back to the fear of the unknown.
Yeah,
it goes back to the fear of the unknown, because like all these people are saying, nah, it's not gonna happen, man. You know, like especially with voting. You know, we don't have a say. You know, we don't vote. Look what happened.
Yeah.
You know, the Brexit, biggest turnout with voting.
Yeah.
Was there. You know, the public came. It was close, head to head. You know, surprisingly, a lot of young people came out to vote as well, which is good to see. But again, it's like, just to show you that, you know, like, it works, you know.
I'm going to say something very controversial here, and I think people might be mad at me, but fuck you. I think voting should be moved up to 25 years old. I think it should be moved up, not moved down. I think there should be committees of young people to hone the ideas so they're heard. But I don't think, like, if you look at the state of academia right now, and if you look at like the way that kids are being moulded and influenced by their lecturers and shit and that, it's not going to give an honest perception of what the working world needs or wants. Because don't forget, man, like I'm going back to what I was thinking fucking in my early 20s, and yet again, people want a voting age to be 16. That's fucking insane. That's insane. Like, I think the voting age of 18 is fine as it is, but your brain, our frontal cortex doesn't stop developing until our mid 20s. You know, and you need more experience in life. Like, you need more experience. Like, I'm looking back in the last 5 years, especially, I've completely grown 15 years worth of fucking shit than I've done in the last 15 years. Like, it's just the last 5 years, must really changed. My mind's really changed, and it's down to the development of my brain, my interests, and me being working, me keeping a roof over my head. And these are all things like, you know, so I can respect some conservative policies, I can respect some Labour policies, I can respect the whole paradigm. But I do think that, like, having a voting age between 18 and 24, like, I mean, 16, 24, like that whole age gap there, I think it's a very confusing, strange time, and people may vote sincerely, but it doesn't mean they're voting smart in a smart sense, if it makes sense.
I can agree with you. You know, I definitely agree that I don't think the voting age should be limited to 16. I agree. There are a lot of young people out there with some amazing ideas, you know,
sure.
Some great ideas, you know. Some of them are mature than normal age, fair enough. But then again, if you look at the bigger spectrum, there's a lot of 16-year-olds that are not prepared for that kind of stuff, that have no fucking idea how the world works. They think they do, but they don't. Again, you haven't even left your parents' house yet. Oh no, there's a few there that do.
Yeah.
I'm saying the majority, you know, and you know, like I'm not. I mean, now I am a British citizen. You know, I worked for my citizenships and stuff, so I can be able to vote. You know, for prime minister and things like that, because, you know, like as not having a British passport or citizenship, I can't vote the prime minister. So I fought for that right. You know, to become a British citizen, to be able to.
And that's respectable. Man.
Yeah. I think you know, it's good to do that. You know, if you want the country to run in a certain way which you think would be best, you know, voting is the best way. So, you know, I had to fight for my right. You know, pay a shitload of money to get the fucking citizenship. It was worth it, you know, to be able to have my say in the elections and things like that. And it's like, again, you know, saying, well, going up to 25, you know, even though I'm not 25 yet, I'm turning 24 soon in October. I voted, you know, every time I could have voted, I voted, even though, like, for the times I was allowed to vote as an European citizen, I could vote, because I got not even just two nationalities, I've got three nationalities. That's the perks of being, you know, a mix. You can have all these kind of nationalities. You know, you look at Secret Agent where you got all these different passports, you're just whipping it out in the airport. It's funny, but yeah, it's just like, you know, I can vote for like mayor and things like that.
Yeah,
like,
it's cool.
You know, which is fine. Which I find it quite cool. You know, you can have a say even though you're not a perfect citizen. But like with the age of 25, I can see why people are a bit more mature and experience a lot of things, because at the end of the day, I think people can agree with me that at the age of 18, you know, at the age of 20, there's some people still fucking getting smacked up and different things, and, you know, even though they can be quite, you know, intelligent people and stuff like that, a lot of things can cloud their mind, you know, and a lot of people are still not mature at the age of 22, which I can see where you're coming from. So yeah, it's I'm 50-50 with the. I think 20 should be the age.
Maybe 21.
20, yeah, 21. Yeah, 21 should be it. 25 is like a short mark, I think.
But the thing is, I know it's never going to be that case. That's why I'm saying my opinion. Like, it's never going to be that case. It's never going to move away from 18. Because they'll see that, everyone will see that as a going backwards. When really, that's probably being more prosperous actually. 21. I mean, like, I work for a liberal arts university, and I've seen the fucking crazy shit that happens in universities nowadays. And honestly, I've been at this university for 6 years now, maybe 5 years. But the last 3 years, I've noticed a real fucking massive change, and it's not for the good. It's not for the good. It's not for the best. It's just students there are so entitled, so fucking bratty, and they hang off their lecturers every little word, and it's very, very fucking gross, and it's very hard to see because you're watching all these mental disorders develop. You're watching them manifest. You're watching these people, like, they're being put into a system where they've been told by the lecturers, oh, even if you do get the pass grades and stuff here, you ain't going to be able to get a job. Only a few of you are going to prosper, which is a truth, because obviously universities are oversaturated and degrees are oversaturated now. But the thing is, like, you watch these kids go there, you know, get pissed up, make some mistakes, and suddenly become these academia drones, and it's just like they just repeat the same rhetoric. They're all just the same. Honestly, I play a game with my colleagues on opening day when the students first start arriving. Yeah. You can guess their courses by the way they're dressed. Honest to God, you can instantly. It's just like you think you're being the original, but you're not. You're being more of the fucking same.
Oh my God, I think I know what you mean there. Like, you know when people say you're not supposed to judge people straight away, you know, like.
No, of course not.
But sometimes you can really tell if especially when you live long enough, you know, like you can experience and you just see how people, you know, what they present themselves. You know, then again, that goes to psychology and stuff. You can really tell when how someone presents himself. You can actually, you know, make an idea what goes in their mind. But yeah, like, oh man, with universities at the moment, I've been seeing some insane stuff. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, one thing I do see right now, I see a lot of young people in universities and stuff. Like, fair play, they're trying to get to higher education and get somewhere in life, you know, and stuff. I'm proud of people that, you know, they have devotion to educate themselves higher and get smarter and things like that. But right now, it goes back to the hysteria, man. There's a lot of people doing this, like, fucking LARPing. They're, like, LARPing to be these revolutionary people, you know, where you don't need revolution kind of thing. It's like, I think they're focusing on things where it doesn't require so much energy, especially in our society. Like, a lot of people disagree with me, you know, and say, oh, you know, like, UK politics, you know, everyone's corrupt. But, like, comparing British politics to Brazilian politics, I can tell you 100% what the difference is. Like, when I moved here, for once in my life, even my parents say the same thing. They actually feel like the politicians do something and the vote matters. You can actually see it for yourself. If you ask, like, you can write a letter for your council and you got so many signatures, you know, from your neighborhood saying, oh, we want a kids park in Anita Park. 2 months later, banging, go pick kids park. That happened to me, you know, in my area. I got now a new free gym now at the back of my house now. Sick. I can just go there. And, like, if that was in Brazil, you would even get a response back. Yeah. And you watch TV, the politician you very asked for a park. He's using that money for the park to buy himself a new yacht. And this is a lot of people have, like, forget about this privilege of being able to vote and being in this Western, like, European civilization that you actually have a say here, you know. Like, I feel like here I can vote and make a difference, and I can actually go to an MP, speak to him face to face. In Brazil, we'll not be able to do that. Politicians think they're like some celebrity, like high up there, and here it's just like the normal people trying to do their job.
It's the same thing with those like super rich pastors that fucking sell out arenas and fucking just buy cars and stuff.
Exactly. It's just like that in Brazil. Like, dude, they think they're like the kings of the world there, and like here for once, I feel like I'm sense of a community. And this is why Brazil feels like a bit like a free for all there.
This is why like local politics work. Like our local politician is a Liberal Democrat guy called Tom Brake. Now, whatever my opinions of him are, don't really matter. One thing I can say about him is he's fucking stuck out with his job and fucking done a good thing the last how many. He's been voted back in so many times. Now, I may not agree with his party, but the thing is, I may have agreed with, like, he's done something recently with making the waste management a bit more difficult, but add more bins and stuff. But fuck it, I understand his vision. I understand why he's doing it. Mm-hmm. And if I was a bit more disciplined with my waste management, it would work out for me. So I may moan about it, but internally that's down to me being a bit fucking lazy. But I know his heart. I know he's put himself on. I know his heart's on the job, and he really tries. We get letters through the door from him. His staff even like hand writes the name on the envelope and shit. And that's like to see little things like that.
You will never get something like that in Brazil, dude. That you never get a handwritten letter. Whatever. You'd be lucky. You know?
I think the problem with the big political parties in this country, people that fucking sit in House of Commons and fucking have that really gross fucking vulture spatting competition. Like
sometimes it's childish.
The problem with that shit though is they're all from the fucking. You can't really blame them for the way they are because they've been force fed through these institutions of the rich end, at Eton and things. they've been forced through the same lineage, through the same courses, and they're breeding the same kind of people, and they're not allowing for their character types. So no matter if you're if you're agreeable character type or not agreeable, these Theresa May, she's a fucking cretin. She's just it's just.
She's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, and it's just she has no attributes for she's not strong, she's not any of these things that a good leader needs to be. But she's gone through the same education system as all her fucking predecessors, and has a fucking toffee in her fucking mouth, fucking voice, and and they've been these adults were raised as kids as an end goal. We're going to be politicians and put through these high end schools, and they. So the thing is, I do have a bit of sympathy for them, because it's they didn't really have much choice in their future goals when all their fucking parents are competing for their kids to be the next MP, next this, next that.
I mean, it's like that thing as well. At the end of the day, we'll never get a perfect politician.
No.
And it's impossible. You know, you can even do the math.
Well, even the idea of a politician, if you think you should be in a position of authority, you should be in a position. You should be in a position.
I think being authoritarian is already a bit of a concern. You know, I mean, you have the mindset of I want to, you know.
But even the ideas, say right now, if say I went, do you know what, say out of our friendship group, if I was do you know what, I like everyone here. I think I know how to work them the best way. I'm going to be the leader of these guys. If I start acting in front of you guys all authoritative, I'm the leader of you guys. I see the best in you. I'm going to try and bring the best out as the group and start trying to micromanage the group as a whole. You'll be like, this guy's a prick. And because my whole mindset is to control. So if you're in a position where you're do you know what, I'm going to be, I should be in a position of authority. I should be an MP. I should be this. If you have that mindset to say you want to be on top of people, then you shouldn't be there. The people that should be elected are the most humble that don't want that position. There's so many fucking scholars and shit. There's fucking so many really smart ass fucking people that would be better MPs, but they're not in the institution where they want to be an authority. They want to just talk to people and they want to fucking
I mean, it's okay to have a sense of leadership, but not a controlling sense of leadership. You know, when you get dictators and things like that. You know, they're yeah, I'm the supreme power here. You know, I know who you are. But I think it's just that they should go with the idea that they want to make a difference, rather than just being in charge, like you said. You know, if you believe, you've seen how people are, you see what the problem is and you want to solve the problem, rather than just being like you said, just being oh no, I'm going to be the leader because I believe that I can do this. I kind of thing. It's more going on an open-minded, for example, looking at countries like Switzerland, Iceland and things like that, how they work and stuff like that. You don't see those people going to power. They're just really simple when a country works perfectly. Here we got all these snobby MPs, they all studying politics and things like that.
But with those sort of societies, it's still, when they are very, very liberal and when they are very progressive, it still affects the working class people more. Because was it Sweden or Switzerland? That's the feminist capital of the world, but also the rape capital of the world.
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden.
Sweden is, they actually, no, have they beaten Congo already? Because Congo is the rape capital of the world.
But if you look at the recent numbers,
I think it's, no, because the last time I checked, Sweden was the second.
But still, that's not good.
But
though,
still, it's still something to be proud of. But I'm just saying how insane it is. And
I don't think
Sweden is.
I don't think
tricky.
I don't think anyone's got it right just yet, but we're getting closer. No. The problem is, it's the people that are frustrated. Which I understand. As much as I fucking hate Antifa, as much as I hate them, you can understand the mentality of people that are complete nihilists and they want to destroy before rebuilding. They're nihilists, but you can understand the frustration when it's I'm going to destroy to rebuild. But the thing is, how are you going to rebuild? How are you going to rebuild the system to make it better? America and the UK are fucking doing pretty good. Sweden are fucking smashing it, but everyone at the bottom end is still losing out. And to be fair, I'd much rather have to fucking beg, borrow and steal to fucking get food on my fucking plate than fucking worry about my mum and sister that getting raped all the fucking time. Do you know what I mean? Being progressive does come at a cost, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sweden is a tricky one. It's starting to get a lot of changes now in Sweden. We're starting to turn around, well, because the shit hit the fan there now. With the no-go zones and things like that.
That's the thing that just blows my mind. It's just how people if you bring this stuff up very, well, I wouldn't say candidly. If you bring this stuff up as a matter of fact and say, people instantly try to sort of ignore it or dismiss it. It's just like, you know.
I think a lot of people are misunderstanding the term of tolerance.
I think so, yeah.
Because you can be tolerant, but there is a limit to where you are allowing everything, kind of thing. Let's a fun example to look here is Japan. No one really talks about Japan, but look at their immigration laws and things like that, and how they work as a society. It doesn't matter what creed, background you're from. You know, they don't care. But as long as you follow the rules, you're okay. You know. And I know Japanese people are not very religious either, but I remember watching this video of this Japanese man. I'll send you a link as well afterwards. I think I sent it to you in the chat. Where this Japanese man talks about, like, you know, foreigners and how in Japan and how they integrate and things like that. You know, like most Japanese people don't care for what religion they are and stuff like that, but they're like really strict when it comes to, like, you know, migrants coming in and things like that. They're like, where you from, you know, where you come from and things, and they always keep an eye on stuff. They're tolerant, but to a point where it's just like, you can do your thing as long as you obey the law. And I think what the problem is, a lot of like Western countries is like, you can do your thing, but now they have become a bit above the law, if that makes sense, and it creates a bit of a chaos kind of thing, you know. You know, it's like I feel like it's someone comes in your house and he just does whatever he wants, you know, because he feels like is a token.
You shut that shit down.
Yeah, it's just like I think we need rule and law, you know, because otherwise, you know, like when I was 16, I believe anarchy was the way forward, you know.
Same.
You know, I really believed in that, and you know, I thought I could be all king on my own planet, but then I just see like, even the animal kingdom does that.
I used to be very anti-police because I grew up on a shitty council estate called Duran Close, and police, like, people like to say I'm chatting shit, but I've got enough fucking evidence to back me up, act like or not. But like, the police would come to my estate to meet numbers. I truly believe council estates are the last kingdoms, alright? Like the tower blocks and that, you had your own hierarchy there. You got on, like, you know, you may have had beefs from the estate, but once you go in from school, you know, those fucking four walls, that's your life. And no one comes onto your estate, right? No one comes on to fucking start shit because no one wants to fucking fuck with you. The problem is my estate's be very, very bad. Very, very bad. Now, by the time I grew up there, the people that were bad were either dead, arrested, or leading better lives. But the police knew that if they were, this is before plastic police, this is before
police come in,
the police would come down and they would rile us up and arrest us or pick fights and that just to meet numbers. And the thing is, honestly, we stopped calling the police. If say something happened in the estate, like a fire or something, we wouldn't call, and it just, you know, if someone got robbed or someone got beaten up or whatever, and the police take 3 hours to get there. And obviously, if the ambulance got there before the police, they couldn't leave their vehicles because they'd be scared to be a knife involved. So the ambulance can't do their jobs until the police get there. One time my mate Ricky had his jaw broken, was pissing blood at his fucking nose, broke his fucking arm, couldn't fucking and the ambulance sat in the vehicle and they waited there for 2 hours for the police to come and fucking say there's no knives involved, you can get out. The police there's a copper, a retired copper that stole my cousin from the estate. Now, yeah, don't get me wrong, we were dickheads on the estate because you make your own fun because fucking you live in a shithole, mate. And a couple of the lads were throwing fucking shit over to the neighbouring gardens, like behind the walls. This ex-retired copper, he came onto the estate, angry, and he grabbed the first kid he saw, which had nothing to do with it, my cousin Joe. Grabbed him, kidnapped him, locked him in his fucking house.
Fucking hell.
For 3 hours. And the police come, found out it was him. And this bald wanker, I know it's not right me saying that 'cause I'm fucking bald, but it's fucking bald wanker of a copper and his fucking pal come onto the balcony and they're saying to my mate's mum, my auntie Kim, saying, right, we know where your son is, you know where he is, right, but he's one of ours and obviously your son must have done something wrong from taking him and that, so we will give him back to you providing you don't file a police report. And basically try bullying her into fucking not getting one of their own done. And she's crying, going, I just want to see my son, Now, one of the dads in the estate, Darren, really fucking nice bloke, really nice dads in the estate, stepped up, and, like, not confrontation, he's like, come on, mate, she wants to see her kid, like, and this fucking cop went, you step up to me, bang, and fucking nutted him. Nutted my fucking mate's dad, hit the fucking ground. Right, you saw that, he went for me. Fucking, and came back to agree to not press charges to fucking get her son back. And then it took us another 3 years to get this fucking cop fired. This cop had fucking 3 other instances where he'd done the same thing. One time, me and my brother on the estate, my brother just come back from college, and we met in the fucking park. And out of nowhere, 5 coppers come round. One of the guys that called the police for someone throwing concrete at his house wasn't us lot. And the police came. He went, "Oh yeah, that's him," pointing at my brother. I wasn't even on the estate at the time. These 5 coppers called me and my brother over. I was only like 14 at the time. My brother was 15. Brother was 16. I was being 15. So they couldn't do nothing to me. So John went, "Go get dad. Go get dad." And the coppers surround me and my brother. And he went, "You fucking move. There's 5 of us. We'll fucking do you in." So I was 15 years old. I had every right to leave and get my dad. But they fucking threatened me and my brother. Luckily, I recognised one of the coppers. He was shagging my mate's sister. My best mate, Danny Grant, was shagging
Small
his sister.
world.
And ironically, it's called PC Law. Right? And I looked at him, I was like, "You're Alex Law, ain't you? You're PC Law." He went, "Yeah." I was like, "You're Lou's boyfriend, isn't it?" I said, I was around Danny's the other day. You was giving us all the fucking all the knockoff PlayStation games, weren't you?" "Oh shit, yeah, right." And sort of, right, calm it down a little bit and sort of give me brother a warning, even though I've done nothing wrong. But so I did grow up as an anarchist initially because I hate the fucking police. I started to learn the law. I started to learn what I could and couldn't say, and that's why I've been so successful dealing with police as an adult, because I learned the framework on how to deal with this shit.
I've got a different experience. Why I sort of had the anarchist mind.
Sure.
I still remember today because he was, I think the age of 16 is the age where you start absorbing so much information, and you start to make up your mind ready to become a grown up. I grew up in Brazil, middle upper class family, had a home, had food on the table, went to a private Catholic school. I was raised with a house full of women, my grandma, my aunt, and my mother, So of course I grew up with the value of respecting women and how women work and stuff.
Yeah.
And only had my grandfather as a father figure really at the time. My father used to come visit me sometimes, but my family was I wouldn't say conservative mindful, but they had like more of a liberal kind of right wing sometimes. Like they respected the police.
Yeah.
Even my uncle now he's a helicopter pilot for the police force back home. So he arrested some baddies. Like he used to go sometimes in the favelas and stuff and get some big guys and stuff like that. Real tough job. And so we kind of grew up, like family has been in the military and things like that. So I kind of grew up to understand how the police and the military kind of works and have a respect for that, for the job they do. Especially in Brazil, when being a police officer is a very dangerous job. Any day you can just encounter crime, just around the corner, and everyone's has got a weapon as well. It's not like here, like your lad would just probably just run kind of thing. Like in Brazil, you can just pull out a gun and shoot you straight away, like a bit like America. And I always had that in mind, but then I moved here, and I suppose seeing how like culture is here is like it's completely different than back home. That's another thing I got really starved is in school as well, like how students disrespect the teachers. That's one thing I really dislike about school. I never had a moment where I raised my voice or even threatened my teachers. Like for the first time I was in this country, I saw a teacher cry because of a student. I was so baffled.
Yeah, we used to make it a game.
In Brazil, if you ever tried to do that, you would shit yourself. Like, we would have a class of 45 students and one teacher and a helping teacher at the back. If you ever tried to do that, we used to even have in the school a head of discipline. So you would deal with someone that misbehaves, not necessarily in the form of like punishment, like say in a non-physical punishment way. So like. I think the most punishing thing I've known to hear from school is that if you get 3 warnings from the school, they will send a letter to every private school in the estate, and it will tell you that you're not allowed to be in because you're a troublemaker.
Right.
And kids used to be fucking scared of that, because like they know that private schools are. Have a better education, you have a better chance to get to university and things like that. So, kids would be dreadful, being like, oh shit, we gotta step down kind of thing, like, and that really worked, and like seeing here, it's just like, how, teachers misbehave, and I didn't really learn much in here. I went to Southfields Community College in Southfields, like between London and stuff. Oh mate, even the school name sounds like a fucking prison. Community college.
Yeah, it's a lot of mates Putney and whatnot.
I got like stabbed in school and stuff like that, and it's just it's insane, man. It's like it's a complete different
the problem is the system over here. Like the common phrase is, they say those who can do, those that can't teach, and that's the problem with that is like. Well, I understand why that's wrong. I also understand why that's right, because a lot of the teachers over here, it's very hard to find a good teacher. In high school, my whole time there, I could probably count about 5 teachers in my hand that really made my life more challenging there in the right way. And the problem is, so one of the universities I used to work at is St Mary's, and St Mary's in Twickenham is University College. I used to be a warden there. So what a warden means is I live on campus. I have my own hall's residence. So me as a gardener during the day, at night time I manage the 70 students in my halls, make sure they're behaving themselves. And my halls are half first years and half PGCEs, which means they're trained to either be a teacher, a primary school teacher, or a high school teacher. Mm-hmm. Now the problem is to be a high school teacher, all you need is a degree. Has not got to be in a subject you go to teach. It's just you have to have a degree. Mm-hmm. Once you've got a degree, you can then go to high school and be like, I've got this degree in this, but So yet again, when I was in sixth form, I had a teacher that taught PE, but then in sixth form, she's now teaching me sociology, and she was learning as she was going. She was fucking awful. She was a cunt anyway. Fucking hate her. Fuck you, Miss Jones. But like, it's just like you can instantly tell. The ones that are there to collect the paycheck and like, and don't get me wrong, I understand there's unruly students, they did fucking make their teachers life hell. I understand that. That's why I stopped learning French in the end. I was smashing French up until year 9, but then suddenly after year 9 you get put into groups, for your GCSEs. I got put in the middle to lower set, and all my fucking class are fucking retards, and it's just like
careful with that word. You can't say that word anymore.
Sorry, they had learning difficulties and behavioural difficulties, but it's just they made it impossible for me to learn French. They made it fucking impossible. Same with geography. At sixth form GCSE geography, I didn't know a thing. And I think after the first 6 months, our teacher just went, "Guys, you've broken me. Like, I'm trying to teach, trying to do my job. You guys are going to give me a bad result at the end of the year." And even to the point, like, after the first 6 weeks, I said to the teacher, I pulled him aside. I was like, "Look, I'm not going to learn in your class because the kids aren't letting me. Rather than just do it, I'm going to ask you. But do you mind if I sit at the back of class and just do my homework for other classes?" And he went, "It's fine." So geography, I didn't learn anything. I went to lessons still, but I done my homework for my classes. I done like my drawing and shit in that because I knew I wasn't gonna fucking know. I don't really know what the solution to that is, but that's the state of the UK school system.
Yeah, it's like I did really bad in school, because it was really impossible for me to learn. And you guys have sets here. That's another thing that's different as well. Yeah. Like we usually divided, because I said I have a class of 45 students, and we were divided by this one group kind of thing, and everyone would learn the same thing at the same time. And if someone realized they got learning difficulty, of course they will approach the parents and be like, right, your son is falling behind. We can suggest you private tutoring, or they can go stay after school and learn and things like that. And the thing with sets and stuff, which I understand here why it works sets, because if you're bottom set, either you don't understand or you just don't give a shit. And starting from the bottom set because you move here in this country, and they don't know how did well. And back in Brazil, they just probably bottom set everything, so you have to work your way up, which is fair enough, which I understand. And I tried my best, but then again, it had a problem because another problem is that schools are so packed. There was a time where I was third set in maths, and I really enjoyed maths. There was the time when I was learning algebra and things like that, and I wanted to go up to second set. I was trying banging out, in class, paying attention, really learning, and they become a bit of the teacher's pet, respecting him and things like that, and they couldn't put me in second set because the classroom was full. I was just like, fuck, it's fucked up, And in Brazil, it's just like everyone learns the same thing. Everyone's kind of the same level. But if you're doing bad, you either repeat the year.
But like America.
Yeah. Because if you fucked up, you repeat the year.
So I was smiling because you just reminded me of something. I've done the same thing. I remember I was in lower maths. I didn't understand why because I was good at maths, and actually put me up to the middle set. I completely forgot about that until you mentioned that.
Yeah.
But I still think there's a system that needs to be in place in between American and ours, because the fact that we still judge kids based on their barcode, based on their date of birth. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy, and kids don't learn at different levels. I think I've been speaking about this quite a lot recently, only because I'm more since listening to Jordan Peterson and reading his stuff and that. Like
I love him. He's
I've really,
amazing.
I've really become aware of character types, and the thing is, we still don't have a paradigm for character types yet. I think that's the next revolutionary thing for our government and for our schools to recognise is character types. Because already in schools, as I was leaving, they started to recognise the whole audio visual interaction things. You know, some people learn better through audio. Some better. They start recognise that as I was leaving.
I agree with that. You know, like, you know, especially me that has ADHD and things like that. You know, like, everyone's brain works differently. You know, like, you got someone that it's easy just learns better by reading in silence, and you got people that fucking, you know, like me, I struggle reading so much, man. Like, I get distracted. It takes me like half an hour to read one page.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really difficult. But like, if I watch someone do something in front of me, like say they're doing like Matu or something, I've learned so quick.
Same.
You know, they need to say a word. I just watch someone doing it. It's so quick. And like you're saying, a point. I think that's pretty good. You know, like, you know, have like people that do better learning a certain way. You know, because the thing with schools is you have to make the student engaged.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of things you tend to do instead of dividing them into sets, kind of thing. I believe this is just my personal opinion. I think it's just like you gotta make sure the class engages, because don't get me wrong, even though I was in a shitty ass school, I had teachers like, for example, when I was in set 4 in school, and it was my science teacher, where she used to make me cry so much.
Sorry if you
cry. The cat's not interested. She's crying out.
She just wants attention. Kiko.
Call me a pussy boy.
Yeah. Sorry to carry on.
But yeah, well, yeah, it's just like, man, I'm like, I need to move out of the set, man. I just can't learn. The teacher's crying every fucking second because some dude keeps throwing a fucking science book at her, you know. And poor her though. New teacher. I have no fucking idea what she's coming for.
Well, so
and then I moved up a set. I went to set 3 in science. And man, she was the best teacher. She was like really strict, you know, like we had to have our own binders and things like that. And if you missed your homework, she would just give you the dirtiest look, and it was great. And I was like, this is one of the things. She really made the class engaged. You know, had their own little binders. She didn't mind how you organized them, you know. But as long as you followed her rules, you were okay, you know, like, and she really rewarded you, and if you did something different.
So that's good. So they allow people to create their own systems within the systems they're in. It's perfect.
No.
So, but on the whole like sort of character type thing, I was having a conversation with a guy I work with, Bino, who's not a tattoo artist at the studio, and like I honestly think the next revolutionary thing, like again, not for me, because I'm not the kind of person to be like, I'm gonna push for this, but like I still think the next beneficial thing would be recognising character types, because if you look at the whole political spectrum, it's a 2D model where you've got, you know, authoritarianism, libertarianism, right wing, left wing. But I think if you put it into a 3D model and done a line going out through the centre and as a 3D model, you can break down character types. Or even if you've done it in, I know this is a really sort of nerdy comparison. But in Pokemon, you have types, okay? You have like
water, fire,
and the problem
ghosts,
is with sociology and psychology, we recognise what character types converse in civil discourse, what ones can get on, what ones can attribute right levels of empathy. I think the next positive step is to try and bracket. So people will put a label on themselves, right? I'm not about labels, but I'm up for brackets to try and understand you as a human. I think the best next progressive thing to do is to recognise character types, and so you can sit yourself on the political spectrum, but also be self-aware of your character typing. So you're not just fucking yelling at a brick wall. You're not getting stressed out fucking by not having civil discourse when you don't agree with. So like that way you can match up people that, you know, that in these echo chambers, you can match up people on a different side of the spectrum to them to have a civil discourse that will play to their strengths and play to their weaknesses in a positive fashion. And I think we could do more in this country or even this world to recognise character types, because we've got down to a fine system of about, I think it's either 8 or 16, one of those fucking numbers, character types that can be like, you know, that understand, you know, everyone has their own subjective reality, I understand that. But if you can understand the character type that you are, you're more, it gives you a better framework to deal with people in a less stressful manner and engage in civil discourse, or not engage and go, do you know, actually I don't think we're going to see eye to eye because I'm this character type and you're this character type, and that's not to cause division, like, because it's not as if like it's down to race and shit and that, like, you know, imagine if fucking character typist became a thing. I doubt it would be, but it gives people a framework how to exist in their own reality as well as the reality around them.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the next positive fucking thing
I
to
know.
do.
Again, there'll be a complete reform in schools, though. This is the thing, though. It will take probably a while until we get to that stage.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
But it is a great point to put forward, you know what I mean? Because, like I said again, a lot of people think differently. It doesn't matter what race they are and stuff like that, like, you always meet someone that thinks like you and, learns the same way as you.
Well, the problem is now, like, we're still in this really weird grey area where we recognise culture, but we're not allowed to recognise it. Like, it's just like, you have culture appropriation on one end of the spectrum, where you say you can't learn from someone's culture, or you can't enact it, or can't live with it, you can't use their culture for self-gain or self-pleasure or anything. But at the same time, like, we make allowance for people to exist in a certain way and make it about culture. It's just a very weird, grotesque, sort of like awkward conversation to have.
It's a very sensitive subject.
It is
a very sensitive, awkward subject.
I mean, don't have to get into it, obviously.
No, that's fine. No, it's fine. But it's like, my opinion on that is just, you should be proud of who you are, man.
Of course, yeah.
You should be proud of who you are. I don't think it's a problem. At the end of the day, everyone's got a dark history, man.
Of course they have.
Everyone's got their own history, but at the end of the day, it's like, why do you have to rely on something that happened 300, even like 50, 60 years ago, when you were even born, like, being responsible for something you haven't done? I think that's.
So I mean, like, I'm a product of my ancestors only through my blood lineage. I'm not a product of my ancestors from where I'm raised and things I've learned. Every human has their own subjective reality. I mean, to be fair, I don't really know much about my ancestry because I'm a typical working class guy. My biological dad, I don't associate with, and there's still a question as to whether my biological dad's dad was his real dad, and there's still a question as well whether my mum, her dad is not a biological dad. So it's like, I've got a long, like, dark history of, like, when people come around and knock every year and do the whole census thing, and the guys come around trying to make me do extra part of the census, about my bloodline. I'm like, it starts with me, unfortunately, because I don't really know much. I know the people. My dad is my dad, okay? That's the guy that raised me, and I am a cur, through and through. Maybe not blood, but I'm a fucking cur.
Yeah.
And same with my granddad, that raised my mum. She may not be his blood daughter, but that's her fucking dad. So, as well, the stuff I've learnt, okay, makes me a part of this family, but I can never attribute my bloodline back, so I can't, like, fall in the whole ancestry and be like, the only thing I know is that I'm white. That's probably about it, but I don't know. But I don't know whereabouts I'm from.
Funny story, man. Like, in Brazil, I'm considered white, but here I'm something else.
You're tanned. Tanned.
Nah, I'm Latino, to be precise.
Latino,
but then again, I have Polish and Italian in me, so it's just like, I don't think anyone in my family is black, or like, I have one native related, but it's really far away. Probably explains the really good tan. But it's difficult, man. Like, I understand why, like, people go back into history and things like that, but again, it just seems like an endless cycle.
It's not productive.
I don't think it's productive. I think you should focus on today, on who you are. You can learn from the mistakes in the past, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a way to think, to be productive. Like saying what we did wrong in the past. What can we do different?
Sure.
It's fair enough, but, like, there's only so little you can do.
But I think as well, looking back at the past, like, these conversations we have nowadays are quite disingenuous, because people will recognise the past and see where they went wrong, but they don't want to recognise the climate of the times. They don't want to recognise the paradigm that they existed in. It's very hard to sort of, like, you can't justify the past, but you can justify the mindset and means, because it was from these eras. And we wouldn't have what we had today without all these fucking these atrocities and shit. Like, I think the whole world exists on an equilibrium, okay? You have the bad, you have the good, and it balances each other out. And although there's a big fucking dark sort of history of the Western world, at the same time, unfortunately, we were just better at playing Game of Thrones. We were just better at colonising. As horrible as it is, the whole world was fucking doing that back in the day. And unfortunately, fucking...
Again, we're still learning species. We're only children. We're only children. We don't have the answers of the world.
No.
But I think if you compare today to how it was before, we are way better off.
Yeah, of course we are.
And we should be proud. We should be proud. We should be proud of, like, how far we've come as a species. And of course, it's going back to Mr. Jordan Peterson. So I think he brings some great examples. How he talks about clean up your room.
Yeah.
You know,
just simple little things.
Yeah, how can you go around helping each other if your room is not even tidy? You know what I mean? Like, you know, or being a lobster, you know, you got to grow out of your shell and things like that. And it's like, you know, you got to focus. Put your feet on the ground for a moment. Stop floating around. It's okay to float around and explore the further world and stuff, but like, focusing right now at the moment. You know, like, especially being in Britain. You know, and like because I can easily compare like the difference between my country and this country, and I can really pick out the positives and negatives of it. And I say Britain is so much better than Brazil when it comes to like as a civilization and how the country works and things like that. Like it's a mess there. Even though we're beautiful, we know we've got so many riches, you know, and we like to have fun and things like that. But like compared to how it works in civilization, it's a mess. It's so difficult there. And here, I've never seen so much ease to get into things. You know, like, I get people still struggle there and there, but like this is a country where you can actually, if you want to do something, you can go forward, you can step forward and things like that. And in Brazil, it's like if you want to make a difference, you're gonna meet certain categories. You have to, you know, have some sort of money. Like, have you got that kind of education? How old are you? You know what? It's and a lot of people miss that. You know, like a lot of people miss that. And it's just looking at other countries as well, and like not really developing countries, you can look at the compare the differences. And I think people should be really proud of living in the West.
This is why it really annoys me with protest culture. It really fucking annoys me. Like, I understand why people think it's desirable, because it basically is a mini festival, and you hang out with people just like you. You get to fucking use your shitty art skills to make fucking little fucking shitty signs, be like, meh. The thing is, I just think the more you do something, the less value it has. And that's the truth of the whole life.
It's pretty much like eating the food you like.
And the thing is, man, like back in the day, protests were hard to organise because you had like, you know, you had to do it in private or in secret and do it via mail chains and stuff. Like nowadays, it's a Facebook event and it picks up. Like, protesting is the laziest fucking thing. It's the lowest hanging fruit in my opinion. I'm sorry if you're offended, guys. Like, but do something different, man. We have the. If you've got something worthwhile to say, you've got fucking YouTube, you've got all these fucking platforms, you've got everything, you've got podcasting, you've got everything. If you truly believe in yourself and your voice and your confidence, you'll sit down like I'm doing right now and have a civil discourse, or put yourself on the line for your own opinions. Like, I'm not the smartest guy in the fucking world. I've made fool of my words quite a lot. Like, I'm a dyslexic motherfucker. Like, but at the same time, like, I'm putting myself online by doing these fucking podcasts, sitting down, risk embarrassing myself, saying the wrong thing or whatever. But fuck it.
We'll learn.
But I'll hold myself accountable for my fucking opinions. And this right now, with my microphone, my phone, the editing I'm going to do, that takes far much more fucking work than fucking protesting. Anyone go like, are you going there to say, yeah, fuck it, you know, it's easy, man. And it's a thing of the past. Like, you're not the fucking same as a black rights activist back in the day. You're not the same as the fucking hippies against the fucking Vietnam War. You're not the same as those people. You're not the same as a feminist for fucking fighting for women's rights. Yeah. You ain't the same as that. You want to be, but you're not the same as that. Try something different. The thing is, nowadays we live in the most fairest, most equal society. A lot
of people disagree, but I personally I agree with it.
Everyone, like, I'm not saying that, like I've had
everyone can vote. No matter what color, creed, sex, gender, you can vote.
I've not had the fucking brightest I say brightest as not in the sense of smart. I've had the brightest. I've had the most colourful upbringing. I've been fortunate enough to live in a very diverse area. I've lived in a council estate and that. The thing is, growing up's been a fucking struggle. I've got mental health problems still now because it's just I still dealt with problems from the past. But I'm fucking still working my arse off getting shit done. And the problem is like, you know, I'm trying to be the best person I can be for myself, to put positivity out in the world, not trying to virtue signal and be the best person that I want everyone else to see just for a fucking picture or whatnot. Like, it just winds me up. Like, I know lots of decent people that would have a lot to say, a lot to offer, that I've invited them to the podcast, but they don't want to be held accountable for their opinions. Even most podcasts I've done haven't been like this. They haven't been like, you know, we've got quite a few deep subjects and whatnot. But the thing is, they haven't got to be this. Some other ones I've just spoken quite candidly and, you know, brought things to the past. And people don't want to put themselves on the line. They ain't as confident enough to fucking actually be held accountable for their own opinions. And I think that doing something like this is more fucking brave than going out to protesting some fucking silly little shit.
I actually can agree with that. Like, because if you watch a lot of protests nowadays, it's just people shouting and, you know, and stuff. Yeah. It doesn't really get the point across. Mental. It is like, you can see that in history. Protests have worked before because it was very unusual for people to gather around, you know, and you know, like, get to such a numbers and you'd be like, whoa, there's more than we thought about, you know, kind of thing. But like like we're seeing a lot of podcasts coming out, so a lot of people thinking, it gets you to think. It goes back again to my conversation about ancient Greece, like where people used to meet up, philosophizing about everything, because no matter how much we disagree with philosophy, what we're doing right now, we're philosophizing. We're exchanging ideas, we're thinking, putting what the best next idea is, like putting forward. And like I said, people can disagree with us and agree with us in the conversation right now, but people be listening to us right now and be thinking, oh, I haven't thought about that before. Maybe, I'm thinking about this, seeing how people think, and learning as a human being. You learn from others and things like that. And I definitely agree. Like this, I think this is very important, to sit down and have a conversation with someone. And at the end of the day, like us, we're having a beer right now and I'm just talking, even though we have things that agree and disagree, and our point of view is different walks of life. And I think it's very courageous to sit down, have a talk. Even though we know each other for a few years, but we haven't really like right now sit down and having a one-to-one.
We've not really, to be fair, we've not really had this opportunity, because we've been in social situations, we had a few drinks or whatnot, been the gigs, and it's been enjoying each other's company. We may share memes and stuff on WhatsApp and articles, but even then, they're not like long essay answers and
Dank
stuff.
memes, man.
Dank memes. And the thing is, like me as a podcaster, like this is why it's integral for me to have it in my house, because I get to, like, although I live in a fucking tiny little shoebox, it's important for me to like allow me to bring someone into my home, like sit down, I'll get you a beer, let's talk. And if as a podcast, it's my job. Say if you start to get a bit irate, it's my job to sort of like, I don't want to. The whole point of this is to have a conversation that's audible for people to enjoy listening to. It's not important for me to get any got your moments, like, ha, gotcha. Like, I don't want people to, like, I don't need that validation of trying to fucking come across as being smart. You don't want to be
like Kathy Newman, do you?
No, exactly. And the thing is, and also a testament as to why this protest culture is not working, a testament to that is the success of people like Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Mario Yiannopoulos, Tommy Robinson. Their success has been attributed to the fact of there's been an opposition that's got their fucking name out there. Like, Jordan Peterson fucking come and sold the O2 Arena out. Like, he's been fucking...
And he started as a university student.
2 years he's been doing this. And the whole protest culture has made him more successful. It's free promotion. Like, this is why it's more important for people to actually be held accountable for their opinions, come and speak about, what's true to them, and be willing to learn and be willing to sort of, know when to sort of disagree and say stop.
It's like I was like listening to this podcast on Spotify as well. They're called Philosophize This. You should listen to it. It's like with this you were just mentioning about, all these people coming out, speaking forward, and a lot of people listening to it, and like Jordan Peterson right now, like as a university teacher from Toronto, and all of a sudden he's now holding the flag for, this new movement of thought, like pushing forward this kind of thing. All of a sudden he became an activist, out of nowhere. This 2 years, sold out O2 Arena, having books sold, bestseller. And it's just like, I got lost now. It's just like, I got so inspired, I just got lost about it. I was like, having a moment there. But fucking hell, man. I fucking hate when the brain does this. You get a brain fart. You're just talking about it and you just get lost. But yeah,
well, for what it is, I'll move on to this quickly. So you obviously went to a private school in Brazil.
Yeah.
I used to work for a private school called Lanes in Dulwich, and going there was like a fucking time warp for me, because it still looked like it's very stuck in the 50s. And the thing is, watching these private school kids grow up was like watching. I don't know if you've seen the film Bug's Life.
Yeah, of course.
So in the first 10 minutes, you see there's a stick in the way, and they're like, ah.
Yeah.
And so the kids there were highly intelligent, but they've lacked common sense. There's so many times I've been walking with tools and that, and they're stopping in front of me like, and the problem is, like, I've noticed there was an institution there of racism. Do you remember your point?
Yeah, I remember. Okay, carry on now. I'll go back to it. It's leading to it. Yeah, I remember now.
So, like, working there, like, when people use the word white privilege, okay,
dear.
I've like, people. Listen, I'm not gonna fucking claim myself to be a victim, but I've had no instance of. I think the only time I've ever had white privilege was getting this fucking job at private school, which was just again a working class fucking job. Now the guy that was the estate's bursar there, I won't say any fucking names, but he was a fucking bit of a pikey of a guy. Fucking he wasn't too fond of Eastern Europeans. I'll tell you what, right?
Stealing our job. They took your job.
He's one of his famous quotes in the team room with me was this. He went, "I'm not racist. I just hate the blacks and Irish." And he used to If a job was coming through, he'd come make a point of come sit in the tea room, and he would put all the CVs on the table with a bin next to him and go, white, put it down, black, Eastern European, right? And then it wasn't until we actually employed an Eastern European guy called Decibel, mainly because he was probably white. So anyway, so I understand where white privilege comes from in the high end of society. It doesn't really exist in the low end of society.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the problem is, there's like, normally when I have civil discourse with people that, you know, again, I am the working class fucking like poster boy, you know, I talk like this, I'm fucking bald, I'm white, I'm a bit more sympathetic with right-wing policies nowadays, but I'm not a fucking right-wing poster boy. And the problem is when I was working there, if there's any institution, if I ever notice any racism, I always stand up against it. Now, the thing is, when people have civil discourse with me, they always bring up these equity proposals, you know, like they've always put back between the corner where I've got black friends, I've got black family, and instantly that kills my point.
Cards.
Yeah, so I never ever do that. Okay, all I do is in instance of racism, I'll stand against it, try to combat it. So this one time, but once I was going to get me a work vehicle, going to get me a bike. I was going through Lewisham, whatever. He's looking out the window, and he was like, "Look at these fucking coons and fucking being a bit racist." And I turned to him, "You do realise I've got a black family, mate?" He went, "What? You got colonial family, have you?" And I sort of looked at him like, I'm driving a fucking van. And I'm thinking, I went, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Yeah." He went, "Yeah, but like, you know, they all fucking cooning around, are they? They're all fucking niggers, are they? They're fucking trousers down their ankles and that." I was driving a van. I was like, "They're South London. What do you fucking expect them to be?" Like, everyone in fucking South London walks like that. It's not down to them being fucking niggers or coons. It's not down to them being these things. Like, you know, this is working class culture. And people are quick to fucking turn to black people for that sort of working class culture in fucking South London. But all the white boys, that's why I talk the way I fucking talk right now. Like, you know, I'm a product of that fucking culture. So yeah, I stood against him. I did fucking write some letters. I did actually try getting reprimanded for his opinions. Like, and again, it didn't work out. Once I actually put the framework in place to get reprimanded, I wasn't backed up by the rest of the fucking lads working there. And actually put me in a situation where they got punished for my actions. So, do you know what? So I left. I ended up leaving in the end. I was like, do you know what? I can't work here. I'm gone. And my problem with that is, like, I know people will probably say I should name and shame and try to put me in line, but what's the fucking point? What's the fucking point? The thing is, this guy's not going to change his opinions. Yeah, and also, like, I know there should be. I understand why there's equality in the workplace and why people that are, you know, not white should get a better chance in the workplace. But at the same time, my argument is this: knowing what I've just told you, if you're a person of colour, why the fuck would you want to work there? Why the fuck would you want to work in an institution where fucking someone's like that? You know, why? Yeah, you want to be given the opportunity, but could you imagine what it would be like working with someone like that? Do you know what I mean? Even if, like, it's just like, I get why there's an outrage call. I get why people will, you know, bringing the fucking pitchforks and shit out and that. But at the same time, you've got to sort of turn and look and be like, why would you want to work in these institutions?
Yeah, it's like, now that I finally remember what I was going to say after my magnificent speech.
That was a Freudian slip. I noticed that.
Yeah, going a bit foreign there, buddy. Don't listen to me, okay? No, but yeah, it was just like, what I was trying to point was bring it up until I had a brain fart. It happens, but it's like, you know, like all these people coming forward, you know, saying, well, the best way to talk is with a philosophy where the best ideas will survive, and the ideas that are not fit, they will not make it. This is common sense. Like it's common sense to be against fascism. You know, you don't need to put a stamp around your forehead saying I'm against fascism. It's common sense. It's common sense, and I personally think it's common sense for to be against racism. You know, because everyone should, you know, be okay with whoever they are and stuff, no matter, because we're all humans at the end of the day. We're all humans, and you know, all these, like, compared to how it was back in the days, all these races and things, they're vanishing. The ideology is going away because all these new generation are becoming more aware of, like, it makes no sense to be, you know, for fascism and for racism and things like that. So this is the thing where we sit down and talk. You know, like, we exchange the ideas that makes people think, because, you know, you go in out protesting and shouting, oh, blah, 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 he's got to get bigger number, and a lot of people, you see a lot of interviews, and you interview people, they have no fucking idea what they're doing there. They're just following the crowd. But when you're actually having people that sit down and talk, where they're thinking for themselves, there's no influence around you, apart from, you know, I suppose, not really influence, but you're the one guiding the conversation, because, you know, this is your show and things like that. But, you know, like, it's common sense that the better idea will survive, and the worst idea would die. So like we're so close again to the idea that racism it's so small compared to how it was back in the days. And like like people used to get chased down the road for the color they are and stuff like that. Like I still felt a bit of a a racial problem, when I was in Brighton one day where the EDL was there and the fruit pennies at me, blah 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 kind of thing. But like I've always been treated in respect for the race I am and things like that, and I grew up also in Brazil because we're very diverse as well, like especially being like half Polish, half Italian in Brazil, and you don't get pure Brazilians in Brazil. That's another thing, you don't get pure Brazilians. Everyone is something, like they're either from Italy, from Russia, Germany, they're either from Africa or they're native. We get all kinds of people, and it's just like the best idea will move forward.
Yeah. I think people need to realise as well, you haven't got to be the smartest person in the room or the most impressed person in the room. Just be in the room. Just be in the room. Just talk. And I mean, if you act oppressed, people will treat you oppressed, and that's not sincere. They'll treat you with sympathy and not empathy. People need to realise the difference between the two. I'd much rather like empathise with someone's situation and relate to it than fucking be condescending and be like, oh, poor you. Like I'm tolerant. But I'm not tolerant with fucking negative emotions nowadays. Honestly, like, if you want to sit in the room with me and my boys, my friends, my girls and stuff like that, like, I'll be the best person I can be. I'll hear them, I'll listen to their problems, I'll try to help them out. Or even if I just need a shoulder to cry on, I'm there. But what I can't stand is just nowadays, I go in the pub and people I don't really know. They play these oppression Olympics with me. It's just like. It's just like the quickest way for me to zone out and not give a shit about you is come to me and start fucking moaning about your shit. It's like, I'm sorry, like I've had fucking shit on my plate for a long time, but it's the struggle that makes me stronger.
I agree with you in this point. It's something I've been paying attention to and reflecting a lot about it. Like I think we can relate in this. If you look into social media and stuff, how people are posting things, all these like dank memes and things, and usually they're surrounded about depression and like sadness and like failure and things like that, which is fair enough. It's like having a laugh, haha.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people becoming too nihilist, if that makes sense. And it's becoming their way of life, and a lot of people not giving a shit so much about things, and I think it's missing a lot of that positivity. Everyone's always seen the worst first and the best. And it just baffles me. Like
it's a paradigm shift,
mate. I can agree there've been times that I think like that, but it hasn't helped me.
Yeah.
And you see, I'm sure you met a lot of people that like you have a conversation with them, and you're just like, dude, like if you maybe saw that it's like this isn't so bad, like I get that there's like depression and things like that can affect your mindset and things like that. It goes way deeper into it, but it just seems to be this massive culture of negativity, seeing the worst and stuff. Like, I get it, the world is not perfect, but you have the power to make a difference.
Of course you do.
You have the power to go out there, open your door, and walk into this massive open world of many possibilities. But it's just so much negativity. Everyone just likes to focus on the negative things, it seems so cool to be talking about how shit things are.
The thing is, the people that struggle the most don't do that though. The people that actually are generally struggling, they have to use a positive energy to get them through the day. That's why I don't have tolerance for these mindsets anymore, because I work fucking hard, okay, what I'm doing, like, despite fucking, I need to renew my fucking white privilege card, I still fucking work really, really hard at what I do. And the thing is, I don't have the mental energy to amuse these people anymore. It's like me getting through my day-to-day life, trying to find time for podcasting, for my tattooing, working, even problems with my car, it's just like to try and get through, be a supportive boyfriend, be a supportive son to my mum and dad and brother. It's all draining. I'm getting too old for this shit. And every positive vibe I have in my body to get me through the day, I'm holding on to, I'm latching on to that. So you can't come down and speak to me and start fucking playing words me. Sorry, I'm going to just cuss you out and be like, shut up. Just shut up. Just talk to somebody else or fucking like deal with your problem. And I appreciate, like, I understand I do associate people in their early 20s and stuff and that, but might need a bit more attention and stuff and that. But it's just like, I'm 30 years old and I do not have the fucking tolerance in me anymore to sit there and amuse these bad ideas. That's why I normally like people. That's why you may have seen me going rants before. I'll be on a post. Someone will say something a bit discolourful. I'll just go on a rant and be like, right, no, you're in control of your own world. You sort it out.
No, it's fine to like be there for people. If they feel like
But I'm there for people that I love though. Yes. People that I care about.
But it's just there seems to be this thing where it's just like you help people, you give them advice, but
the things about I realised I used to do, when I was more progressive, I used to do that. But I realised I'm a fucking hypocrite. How the fuck can I give people advice when they have my own life in order? That's what I realised. Like I've got so much good advice for everyone else, but not for myself. So I stopped giving people advice. I just stopped it.
I think there's something that people should read. It's something, you know, like, cause I've always been I'm going to be a very stereotypical goth right now, but it's just like look into the occult and things, and I always have an eye for it, you know, because like spiritual things, you know, and religion and things that always interest me. You know, putting the what you see today with gods and all, like, you know, all this like praying and stuff. Just putting aside, just looking at the philosophy side of things, and I looked up into something called chaos magic, put in brackets. You know, it's when you say chaos magic, people think like, oh, you probably make fucking salt rings, and you know, you fucking burn your fucking bay leaves and shit like that. Just scare the bad spirits away with your lavender and things like that. But no, it's just like, no, they use the word magic because it's more of as a metaphor.
Yeah.
You know, saying, you know, like, because like a lot of humans believe things when they actually see it, or to see in a way where we can actually believe in them. Like a lot of people, there's a reason why a lot of people don't believe in God, because they don't actually fucking see it. So it's very hard to like connect with each other. So with chaos magic is, what it teaches you is that you are basically God, not necessarily like Luciferianism, you know, like LaVey stuff where they tell you you're God yourself, but it's just more of how you are in control of the world around you.
Yeah.
Because of the thoughts you put forward to the table, they will manifest, which kind of makes sense, you know, like if you're having negative thoughts about something, you know, it's either bound to happen negatively, and you're gonna have a negative view
and
of
you'll
things.
project it as well.
It seems like like projection and things like that. And a lot of people should read about this because it teaches that you're in control of your life. And it's just like, if you put so much energy into getting things forward, you know, look, for example, a lot of famous people out there, they start from nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and they put forward this energy. I'm gonna be this.
Yeah.
You know, like The Rock, for example. You know, like Mr. Nobody, and he's like, I'm gonna be this. And now he's a massive celebrity, you know, in movies, wrestling, and he's strong as fuck. One day we'll get there. But and like, this is like the basis of chaos magic. It just teaches that you can control the world around you. You can shape the path you walk to.
It's real. It's actual real karma. Like, karma's not a thing of like, well, I've had so much shit happen to me, something good happens. No. All karma is life exists on an equilibrium. If you put positivity out there and surround yourself with positivity, people will react positively to you. I mean, since I've been such less of a fucking depressive fucking little goth, like, since I've actually since I've stopped being an apologist fucking for my skin colour, my background, like, since I honestly, back when I was an emo kid and that, man, like, I can look back on that now. So from the age of like 15 to the age of like 25 or whatever, I can look at that time and be like, I was trying to run away from my roots. I was trying to run away from being whitey little working class boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had older brothers and that as well, so like they were the men in the house, and I had more room to be a bit more feminine and do my drawings and things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, I contribute a big part of my life when I was progressive was me trying to find my authority in this universe in a place where I was skinny in that, like where I wasn't strong. I found my authority in being progressive, and that was all because I wasn't confident in myself and my opinions, and I was running away from my background. Now as I've got older, it's just like, yeah, fuck it. Last few years, people have called me a neo-Nazi, called me a fucking skinhead, called me a rape. Which, if anyone called me homophobic, I've got a gay fucking brother, for fuck's sake. Like, it's just, people call me, all these people that don't know anything about me, don't understand how progressive I fucking am, because I am the byproduct of multiculturalism. I grew up in a fucking council estate, and the thing is, people don't understand, but council estates aren't just white people. Everyone that comes to this fucking country is working class. They're fucking poor. We all grew up together. You know, if you've got, like, people are so quick to turn those up at fucking white one class lads nowadays because of like the background of the EDR and stuff now, which I completely sympathise with, right? But it's just like, stop trying. If you're gonna fucking be progressive throughout the board. Don't tar fucking white working class men with the same brush, because you don't do it with any other fucking category of people. You got to fucking hold yourself to actual standard and realise, you know, you might be fucking challenged. Like, again, I've been so many times I've been a bus, like, off at old ladies in my seat, and look at me like, oh, thank you, because no one else fucking would. It's like, well, no, because that's my values. I maybe fucking have a tattoo on my fucking head and shit and that, like, but I'm a decent guy. I still have fucking decent working class values.
That's another thing as well that I think it's missing a lot in this is just my personal experience. You know, a lot of people can disagree with me right now, but this, you know, like, coming from a different culture and different country, you know, and I think education starts at home.
Definitely.
I think education starts at home. It's not. Again, it's one of those situations that it's not always 100%, but I could say 80% of like what happens in your home. You project on yourself, growing up, as a kid, you adapt to your environment and things like that. And education starts at home, and a lot of things are missing right now. It's just how parents are relating to children.
Yeah.
How the world is overpopulated. There's no denial. I was like 8 billion. We're almost reaching 9 billion in less than like 5 years, and it took us about like 20 years to get to 8 billion. Like a big gap, and now it's just like getting more and more and more, and people are just caring less about children. And it's like going back to the school thing. Like they're just shoving them into schools,
Yeah.
and not really educating them. And that's why you get like students fucking telling the teacher to fuck off, and like crying in class because you must think there must be something going on at home.
Yeah, of course.
And it's just we need to cherish these kids a bit more, man.
Yeah.
And
one of my songs, like back in the day, called Guardian, like about passing my granddad, and one of my fucking favourite lines in that is we are children of torment. Like it's just we are like we. If you constantly torment children at home, and I understand why the whole idea of safe space open to universities where fucking America now, even Goldsmiths is a fucking safe space.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there needs to be a safety in the household, but there also needs to be a position to make sure these kids grow up well rounded. And again, I think it does start at home. It has to fucking start at home. It's to make sure the parents are fucking educated enough to fucking rather than fucking having all these kids coming forward and being all nihilistic and making these memes, we need to make sure that parents understand that they can get counselling. That even though you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, you can get counselling. You can seek help to deal with past trauma stuff and that, just so you can be a better, well-rounded parent. We seem to fucking focus so much on the kids, but I do forget that our parents grew up in a society where they didn't have these fucking.
I think the problem is we left the government to look after kids more than the parents.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
I think that's a lot of problem. It's like in Brazil comparing to here. The government wouldn't be blamed for the kids. It's more of the parents. I mean, unless like obviously you got like working class and poor people and stuff. That stuff is a bit different. But I mean, like let's say from a perspective of a middle class family, working class family, and it's like the way they're grown up and things like how they respect the teachers. Like me going back to saying how like the class would respect the teachers and be fear of the teachers, and seeing how it is here. Like it's always starts at home, how the upbringing is, and how you're told like who these people are and who they are. Because parents are meant to be guidance. So look at Finland, for example. Like how their education is and how they are as a people. They only start school at the age of 7. They're always at home learning. How like the basics of like how to work as a human being and be sociable and things like that, which I think is fundamental. And it's just the government is looking after the kids too much, and I think there's something that's gone wrong in the moment, which is I think is to do with parents. A lot of parents are just dismissing the kids.
Well, I think like everyone has to have personal accountability, but the thing is, until you reach the age of like 16 to 21, that's when real personal accountability comes to place, when you actually fend for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think up until the point of adulthood or like pre-adulthood, personal accountability starts with the parents. You need to be personally accountable for your children and yourself, and that's why it's important to make sure you're ready to have kids. I mean, I understand that accidents happen still, but it still just perplexes my mind nowadays. I mean, I'm fucking 30. I've had quite a promiscuous life.
It's a lot of responsibility, man.
I've never had a kid, and I've made my parents had kids at a young age, and I've seen the detriment to what that can affect. So I've made sure that when I have a kid, I'm gonna be fucking ready for it. I know obviously accidents happen and whatnot, so I'm sympathetic, but like, I think there needs to be more accountability in the household, more accountability with people practicing safe sex and being aware. Stop fucking being dependent on the idea of abortion. It's not a contraceptive. I mean, and I know friends of mine, but I've had abortions, and I can see the way it still affects them nowadays. We need to have more accountability, personal accountability at the home, as a person, as a lover in a relationship. People need to be more self-aware of themselves and the effect they have in the world, and start at fucking home.
It goes back again to that negativity thing. Like a lot of people focusing on the positive things. For example, like having a child, I think I notice a lot as well. Like people my age are so scared of children. Like I understand. Like you don't want to. I get it that some people don't make the same mistake as their parents did. As they say, having children young and stuff. But then again, in the day, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, you don't.
You don't have to do that. It's like, this is purely your own choice. I know, again, mistakes do happen, but
yeah.
But it's like, there seems to be the stigma of like being so against children right now.
Get out. Go.
Can't also be the podcast. Why not?
Yeah, sorry.
See, they want to have a say about their babies. Having like 12 babies at once, you got nothing to say.
Hey, sorry, you say?
But it's just like, you can just look around you, you know, like people are so scared of children, you know, like the most innocent things on the planet, you know, like they're ready to learn and see the world, and it's just, you can see that from their behavior and stuff, and it's just, I think people need to cherish a bit more.
But I also think that is down to as well where a lot of men are more scared of being around kids because it is down to the whole sort of last several years where sort of men have been painted as being like fucking predators and shit and that. Like I think what fuck people think about me. Like I love fucking kids. Before I went to my last job, before I picked you up, put around to my mate Mickey's house. Her daughter's fucking like 6 months old now. Fucking had a little cuddle and that with her and that. Like I love my nieces. Like I just love being around kids. You know, and I'll behave how I want to behave around them. If I can have a laugh and a bubble, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks of me. But I can stand where there's weak-minded men that are like, got to stay away from kids. And I think it's, to be fair, I often hear a lot of women like in their mid-20s and that, like being like, I fucking hate kids, fucking like
it's fair enough to hold on to the idea that you don't want children, but
of course,
just like,
yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's got their different experiences, but like, you know, like I have a younger sister. And growing up and helping my mother raise her and things like that, and just, you know, seeing like from birth to what she's 16 now. She's almost a grown woman almost. Time flies, man. You don't notice. But like, it's something beautiful about raising a child or watching from step, like, because you were once like that, and being able to see in your own eyes happen to someone else, it's something that makes me really like think like, hold on, you know, like, you know, things you wish could have happened and things like that. And if everyone had that thought instead of just dismissing things, you know, kind of thinking, what could I do better? It's just, it just drives me nuts.
My niece Shannon's 13 years old. And she's like watching her fucking develop, like it's just like crazy to watch her become her own person, like, you know, fucking from being a tiny little baby to being a teenage girl, like it's right, let's move on to one last thing, because this is like the longest podcast I've done, normally in 45 minutes.
So what we've gone so many subjects.
We're at an hour and 45 basically. So look, let's talk about gutter puppets. Let's get some fucking
gutter puppets.
Yeah, let's get some pros from the go. So you're a bass player for some fucking industrial style metal band called Gutter Puppets, man. Like, tell the people about what you guys about, what you're doing, and how to find you.
Well, Gutter Puppets, we're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, even though we're so quiet on Twitter. But yeah, we are an electronic industrial metal bass band. We haven't really discovered a category we're really in, but we're just like a clusterfuck of.
Cool as fuck, though, man.
There's the actual description that we all say is a clusterfuck of different things, and yeah, we have a drummer, a guitarist, a singer that plays the synths and the samples, and me as a bassist. And we are on Facebook if you want to find it. Gutter Puppets. We had to change our name because we've had some problems with Decadent, because we're getting tagged in charity shops and and fucking different like cake shops and things like that. Really? Sometimes we see like posts, we're like, oh wait, someone tagged on us. I think they went to come and see us. We checked, it's a fucking picture of a cake. And we're just like, oh damn it. So we had to change it to Gutter Puppets, which is actually even more fitting to what we think now, because we're trying to go to just like kind of dirty, but at the same time new sort of sound and thing, which fits perfectly. But yeah, we can find us on Instagram at Gutter Puppets. Same thing on Facebook, and at the moment we played a few shows. We did a little weekend tour in Bristol, Birmingham, and London. It was really fun. You know, we got some really good responses and things like that. And right now we're just going to be quiet, focusing on our new EP that's coming out, or our first one.
You've got a demo on YouTube as well, haven't you?
Yes, we do, for Everything Burns. That's been out for a while.
Yeah.
But we've moved on from the sound completely different. You've seen us live. You heard some of the stuff.
Without fucking sucking Lexi's dick too much, but like, they're obviously Gutter Puppets are one to watch out for, man. Like, clearly one of the best underground breakthrough bands at the moment. Like, you always have like a thought in your head, like you're going to see your mate's band for the first time and you're going to go there supporting them respectively. When I first saw you guys at Fighting Cocks, I turned to Rosie after the first song. I was like,
something fishnets.
What the fuck? Like, this is sick. Like, I think the whole of the set had that dirty screw face on, like I fucking bitten into 10 fucking lemons at once. So I was just like, ugh. Like, it's just everything about it was fucking great. The whole performance, the sound just fucking really kicks you in the fucking balls and punch you in the fucking crazy.
It's like, I don't know if you felt that, but like, I remember someone describing us that, you know, because like when you saw us on stage, you got to meet yourself as a fucking nun wearing fishnets, and everyone looks fucking different from each other, and then you listen to the song, you're just like, this doesn't make any sense, but it fits so well.
No, everything about it's just fucking phenomenal.
It's like, again, it's a clusterfuck. But yeah, it's just, we're getting this EP down, should be hopefully done by the end of the year. Gonna have some music videos down, we're just recording tracks, and hopefully you guys will have to check it out and let me know how it goes. And there's gonna be some dirty, heavy fucking riffs, and I can't fucking wait.
Right, well, dude, thanks for coming on, man.
That's alright, dude.
I hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. It's been a long one, but I hope it's been appreciated. I think the conversation's flowed quite well because it's just flowing before our eyes. But yeah, dude, much love, and yeah, cool.
Thank you, man.